Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your intrepid host, Mr. Dave Fennell, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And seems here recently, a lot of things that I've been discussing, talking with folks about, and I have my little meditation moments and my few moments of clarity, if you will. And it's like, well, what's the topic for today, kind of thing. And it's like, well, okay. And I just recently watched a movie, and it overwhelmed me in a good way. And I thought to myself, so many times in this world, we're told that maybe that our dreams are stupid. Maybe the things that give us passion inside. We're told, well, that's, like, for example, I always wanted to go into theater, and I did eventually in community theater and so forth. But at an early age, I was told that it was just plain dumb. It was stupid. If you follow that passion in your heart. And so rather than following my passion because I was told it was stupid, then I went into doing other things. I had to find work, and I do have an interest in machines and in mechanics and things like that. And so I went into that passion, knowing that in my heart there was always something else. It's that what you want to do, like if you're an artist or a musician, maybe you're a bricklayer, and maybe that is your passion, which is wonderful. Okay. And maybe your passion is a carpenter. That's all of these things are wonderful. Maybe you are, um, a PC person and you can write software. That is wonderful. Anything that you do in a creative style that comes from within, that comes from your heart, that passion that makes each one of us want to continue living on a day-to-day basis. And I reflect a lot of times on, like, well, the passions that I've had in my past. And, you know, life is what dreams are made of. And if you have no dreams, then seriously, what is the purpose of life? I mean, even if you're working 9 to 5 and you're at the grind all the time, maybe it's sufficient for you to say, well, I'm taking care of my family and my kids and I'm happy with that. Okay. But do you have any other passion? Do you like to golf or fish or hunt or whatever that other passion might be? Camping, hiking, biking, okay, a sport. Maybe it's not necessarily an artistic thing, but sports is artistic in itself. And so, where am I headed with this? All right, the leap of love. I'm watching the transition of things on planet Earth right now before our very eyes, before my eyes. And for those who wish to open their eyes, you can see it as well. And I find this an amazing, amazing, amazing positive thing. There are people who have recently met me on the internet, on YouTube, on Facebook, and when I say that I love you all from my soul heart and my heart soul, I'm not making that up. I mean, I really feel it. And by sending out this love in my leap of love, because I'm hoping that my honesty, my forthrightness, my compassion, my sincerity, what wisdom I may have, most of all, my compassion and my love, and how important I feel. And of all the things I've done in my life, and I tell stories of this and that, and I find that that's fairly important. I did achieve dreams of my own. They didn't last as long, but when I reflect back, do I have any regrets? Yeah, sure I do. I know there are situations I wished I could go back and take back words that I said in anger. There are things that I've said with a knee-jerk reaction to other friends or family or things. Now, I say this is a long time ago. It's many years past at least, okay? But also to the point, I mean, I'll be 66 in September. And so it's like, well, okay. So I'm talking with people around the world. And I really do love these folks. Never met them. I don't have a picture of them. I'm not trying to create what they may look like in my head. I mean, as a kid, we used to listen to folks on the radio and try to, like, what does this guy look like? Is he skinny? Is he fat? Is he blonde? Is he, So, but I mean, this is back in the 60s. So, we didn't, our radio stars or whoever, unless we went down to the station or they were on TV or something, we didn't know what they looked like. There was no Facebook and all this stuff. So, we didn't know who these people were. And it was really cool, It's like, well, you could hear people on the radio and all these. I still listen to them now, the old mystery theaters and stuff like that, and we would play a game to see if we could recognize whose voice it was. And I'm still fairly good at it, Now, not as good with voices now, but the movie I just watched, I picked out Mel Brooks's voice. I was like, that's Mel Brooks. And sure enough, at the end of the movie, there he was. That was his voice. So I was like, I still got it in a way. But it's a fun game in how to recognize a person's tone, their speech pattern, and so forth, Well, as an actor and a director and puppeteer and storyteller, being an audiophile in that way, and wanting to listen to how things sound. And if I want to portray a character, as when I was on stage a lot, then I would draw upon the voices and the characters that I heard, and I would entwine them into the character that I wanted to portray on the stage, or in a story, or with a puppet or something, whatever the story was, whatever that medium was. And so where am I headed with this? Well, during these times, it was the love of the craft, the love that I had, still have. It's coming back, and I feel it, and it's wonderful. It's a hidden thing that's been inside of me, locked up due to head traumas and drugs and my previous statements on this. And I can feel the energy coming back. I feel that I never lost the passion, but I somehow lost the connection to the rest of me, of the storyteller, and etc. What does this matter to you? Do you have a passion? Have you had a passion? Have you worked on that passion? I know people right now are in such a state of flux that it might be that what they thought was their passion is no longer filling that void inside. I think that they have been deceived that this is what makes them happy, that they've been convinced that these things are what they really want. Now, I'm not saying everybody, but I know people out yonder kind of deal. And it's like some of these folks are starting to speak up. I've been meeting these people. They've come to my channel. And I love you all, new subscribers, old subscribers, anyone who comes and visits. Because you know what? Right now, you and I, we as this community, we are taking a leap of love. We are looking beyond ourselves. And that we're extending our love to other people. People we've never met. People I don't have a picture of. It's okay, but my point is that I don't even have a picture in my brain what these people look like. It's not important. What's important is what these people feel. It's the love that we as a collective are sharing. We have all come from different parts of the world, from different parts of society, regardless of our profession or our religion. We are all coming together with a leap of love to each other. And we are all, I see it. And I mean, it. A year and a half ago, I thought there was no hope for this planet. I was like, just screw it. I'll keep my mouth shut, hide back here in the woods. I don't need to come out. I'm happy in my own dazed little world. But Spirit said, you got to, this is wrong, my friend. This is not you, Mr. Dave, and especially not Hawkeye Two Feathers. I trained all my life to be this person. And what? I'm going to hide my candle under a bushel basket? I took a leap of faith by turning on this computer. Every time I push that live button, I'm taking a leap of faith. And I'm also listening very intently to Creator and to the source energy. I'm so trying, not in the sense that let me rephrase this. I have to allow this energy to flow through me rather than trying to stop and speak it. I have to allow it to flow out. So if I try to stop and think about it, I get all mumbly jumbly here and I can't speak. And so I take a leap of faith every time I open up and seriously, I love you folks. I do. Because you all are taking a leap of love yourself. And that to me is absolutely phenomenal. No one has to make a message in the chat room. No one needs to make a comment. You do it freely. I never ask anybody to like or share a video because this is not what I'm about. It's up to you. I'm having a conversation with you. And I know there's somebody on and I'm in tears here and I don't want to put my glasses on because I want to get this out. And then I'll check with you. Okay. Just hang in there a minute. I am so humbled by the response of people because I see whether or not we all agree on something. We all agree on one thing. We all agree on the love. We all agree that something needs to change, that the pain and the horrors of war, the fighting and the bickering and the dumb shit that comes out of other people's mouths, we're really all tired of it. I had no idea what I was going to say when I started this video. Only that I know that I can feel the love around this world and it is expanding. Every single one of us who are trying to do better. And folks are coming on board more and more. Someone from over here, someone from Australia, someone from New Zealand, somebody from Sweden. I know somebody in Romania, a wonderful lady. We've chatted over the years. And I just feel so fortunate that I could travel the world and never leave home. That I can share love and compassion with other people, even though I can't get to you. I can show that there is another way, that we are all together in this, my brothers and sisters. Without being corny and without being hokey, every single one of us has taken a giant leap of love. And we are extending our spirits beyond ourselves. We are extending our love for one another, even though we've never met. But we have a common bond. That common bond is the source. That's the God everybody's talking about. And the fact that we can share ideas or a thought or a prayer And I know these prayers help. I know our meditations work. And I know right now we're going through a new moon, and this is a really high energy spot right now. And it may be that's why I'm on right now. Because somehow I feel that the love has been magnified. And for every one of us that thinks a good, positive thought and who tries to stay in a positive attitude, regardless of the bullshit all around us all the time, we're trying. And those of us who are trying, we're trying a little harder. We're spreading the love the best way we know how. We're taking that leap of faith with one another. We're making that leap of love with one another. People we've never met, but we have met in the quantum. We have met in the spirit. We've probably met in the dream world. We may have all known each other in a previous life, and we're all here now. We're making that leap of love. I'm so proud. I'm so thankful for the people who have responded. And I'm going to get to whoever that is in just a minute. But my meditation and my prayers, anyone who listens to me, I just hope you understand that we all have this in us. And we are all so brothers and sisters and so close. And it's manifesting itself. My little dream of wishing that I had 5 people as subscribers, I quit checking because I don't want to look. I don't want to affect the numbers because it's not about numbers. It's about, is any of this making sense? And my prayer continues to be for every person who's touched, even if it's just a short amount of time. I realize in my life I've had mentors and people and that I would take a bullet for because they meant so much to me. They've all passed now. And there is no one for me like that. They've all passed on. And I don't say that in regret or any kind of but they've all passed on. But I know they still exist because of the time I spent with each one of these people who were my mentors, who gave me their self, who gave me their love and their wisdom, or gave me a job, or gave me money, or helped me feed me, whatever. They gave it freely to me. Many times when I didn't realize I needed it. And I stop and I think, well, I only had a short period of time with this person. A couple of years, we spent some time. But that couple of years that I spent with that person was quality. We shared love, friendship, honor. We honored one another. We respected one another. We didn't tear one another down. We were brothers or sisters, depending on who the person was. I've had many lady friends that I was never attached to romantically or anything like that. They were just absolutely wonderful women, most of them 10, 15 years older than me. And they took me in because they saw something in Dave. They shared their passions, their art, their music, their science, their philosophies with me. And men too, but I've known some just astounding women. They didn't treat me like a son. They may have treated me like a younger brother, which was fine. But they treated me with honor and respect, regardless of my station in life. And some of these people were rich, very rich. I can't hold a candle to them in that respect. I'm talking drip money kind of thing. Didn't matter. They saw something in me. They gave me their leap of love. For whatever reason, at that time, it was special. And I am them because I've taken that great wisdom they empowered to me over the many years. I am taking now that leap of love they gave to me. I'm taking that leap of love and I'm trying to extend it. I'm giving my leap of love to anyone who will listen. I'm putting this leap of love out to the universe, to the cosmos. There are beings out there that are in the unseen world. And I speak to them as well. And I can't explain it. It's a really deep feeling. And I know it's happening. I know that it's spreading because I know there are people on the quantum out there who are spreading their love. They're meditating on peace for the world. They're meditating on humanity, that we all make this, or as many as possible. That regardless of our color of skin, regardless of our size or weight, regardless of our length of hair or color, regardless of any of it, we are all extending our leap of love. And I think it's an absolutely beautiful thing. I've felt this before. I know there are a lot of people meditating right now around the world because of this new moon phase. And I mean, whatever it was, I had to turn on this damn computer and get online. I had to speak this energy. And I feel it. I understand it. Where a year and a half ago, I was like, there's no hope for this crazy world. It's too mucked up. It'll never work. No matter how I pray, no matter how much I meditate, no matter what I do, this world is gone. I give up. And then I had another reawakening. Then I had Mother Mary and Sister Aline appear in my front living room here and said, Dave, it's time. It's time for you to have a faith that's really going to be hard for you to understand. I meditated and prayed for weeks. I refused to acknowledge what needed to be done. And then I got another little silent visit from Sister Helene, my mentor in 1970 from Tampa Catholic. She said, just have faith, David. I have faith in you. Have faith. And that's coming from the spirit world, That's coming from the other side. And I mean, I say this in very much respect, but holy shit. So I sit here now crying in front of the screen. I know there's somebody there, and I'm going to be with you there in a second. I swear to God. But I see and I feel this love extending. And it is getting stronger. And those people who are extending their love, I believe, now I can't speak for everybody, or anybody actually, except for myself. Especially now, tonight, I guess that's why I had to just do this, is I can feel it coming back in. Before I felt like it was just going out. Now I know there's love out there, and it's not a lonely thing. It's just, it was just going out. Now I feel it, especially now, that the energy, the love is starting to get through somehow. It's like I'm getting an echo or a reverb of it. I'm sending it out, and it's like, woo, that's cool. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, was that love that just came back in? Oh, holy mackerel. Wait a minute. So I'm a little astounded at the moment, absolutely pleased and humbled. But at the same time, I'm like, this is new. It's wonderful. And I think it's a positive. Let me come back. Hey, Miss Pamela. Good evening, Miss Pamela. I'm sorry. I just had to go. It was only for a moment, Hawkeye. Thank goodness you did. Perfect. I love you. It's my job. Yep. I felt it through the screen earlier. They can't help but feel the empathy for them every moment. Romania is absolutely beautiful. I don't know about Romania. I've heard about it and I would love to go. Must share this frequency and I can't be selfish even when I try. And Pamela, thank you. Inspiring, thank you. I'm just sharing what's in my heart and it's beyond my heart. That's one of the things that's like kind of astounding. You've shared my channel? Well, graciously, thank you. I don't know if I've received my package. I haven't made it to the mailbox. My frequency is contagious. Blessings, Vonnie. I really mean that. What did you say 3 times today? I must have missed it. Expanding exponentially, and it is. Divine intervention is real. Me as well as in your presence. I feel is there. Oh, shit. You said that 3 times today? Oh, shit. Yeah, I stubbed my toe. It still hurts. I've tried my best not to, get upset about things, but, in some of my rants and stuff today and on my Facebook channel and trying to explain to people, just they're clinging to their Bibles is that's their savior. And they're really missing the point. And these are longtime friends of mine. And I'm thinking to myself, look, it's a really good guide. But folks, please, you're missing the point. You're still giving to the Catholic Church that's a fake. And you're still giving, you're paying your 10% tithe so that you don't have to worry about everything else. You've paid your dues, I can go on and do whatever else in my life. Now, I don't consider these people bad people, but they could do better. They have the means and they could do better. I mean, they just could. I know some of these folks are like, got it. And they can't take it with them. And they might be a month or 2 younger than me, but they still can't take it with them. Now, it's none of my business what they do with their assets. But to these people that I grew up with in the same school and the same spirit and the same Catholic, school, etc., and we graduated and all, and I'm like, I kind of felt that these folks have spirituality, and I still do believe that a lot of them do. And they're not all cranks and everything, but I know some of them have gotten caught up with society, as many folks are today. It's just society. But they have just, okay, it's society, and they've just sort of given up and they're riding along, Well, but that's what people do, Well, so I made $500,000 in trading this airplane. But did you screw the guy? Well, not really. Were you forthright in your selling the car? Did you tell them about the back brakes being bad? I mean, come on. So it's like, well, but I'm a used car salesman, but I'm an honest one. Oh, come on. I've never met an honest used car salesman. And I used to be a mechanic for a few of them, Now, there are some used car salesmen who are very dishonest, but I've never met an honest one. You can't make a buck if you're honest. I tried that too. I'm too honest. So those kinds of things that you needed to kind of hedge a bet, I could never do. And I always lost money in business deals for being too damned honest. I paid my employees more than I made because I couldn't do the job by myself. And it was easier for me to take less money than it was for them. I was a horrible businessman, but people like to work for me. I was a good boss in that respect. But, as far as being a millionaire as a business person, well, I kept giving it away, Somebody else needed it more than me. And I had to be honest. I just couldn't screw people in a deal. I couldn't use shoddy materials. If anything, I was going to use better materials than what I put in the quote because I felt obligated to a good job for these people. I mean, I put a roof over a double wide trailer years ago, and I put 20-year shingles on it, and I did all this stuff. And I went by and saw that place about 6 months ago. and the roof is still there. The back porch I built is still there. And that's a good 20, 25 years ago. It's the same roof. At least it looks like it. Now, I didn't pull up in the yard, knock on the door, but I could see it very well from the road. And the fact that it was the same color, it looked still like the same picture that I made. And I'm like, 25 years ago, that thing, that the trailer roof is caving in and all these things, and it's still there. Now, nobody knows I'm the one that built it. That's not the point. From a personal point of view, I have pride in the fact that a storm didn't take it out. The shingles are still on it. And, maybe it might not be the same owners. That's not the point. I was like, I built that and it's still there. That's cool. That's my pride, that I built it and it's still standing. And, so, okay. So with these new frequencies and trying to understand what this expanding on the love and spreading our compassion and spreading our kindness, and I know there are people who do good deeds, but my point is that I can see it and I can hear it in their text and their voices and their pictures they're taking. It's like, you're doing really well, and people that aren't, and you just slough them off. There are people that you went to school with. There are people that there are people in the community that who could use a little extra help. And they're not begging, they're not asking, but you could help them. And they don't. It's just, because I'm better than they are. I'm an RN and they're just a janitor. Well, but you've known them, you knew them, you were working on the floor as a janitor's maid thingy while you were going to school. And so now that you became a nurse, now you can look down on the person who used to be your equal. Well, but I went to school and I became an RN and now I make more money. And now my job is more important than his. Well, at the time you worked with him. So schooling changed your mind and your attitude to where now you're a snobby bitch. I became an RN. He's still a janitor. His passion was that. He didn't want to be a doctor or a nurse, but he did want to work in the hospital. He did want to help around old people and sick folk. He wanted to make sure their areas were clean. He was happy being a janitor, but people looked down upon him because that was his passion. Well, you don't want to be anymore. What if I'm just happy doing what I'm doing? And people looked down on him. People that he would train on the floor, then they would go to school and become nurses. And it's like, well, hi, Mr. Willie. But they became snooty to him. And I'm like, is it because he's a black man? And he's happy with what he's doing? And you say he has no initiative? He shows up every day for work. What makes you better than him? You went to school. What makes what you do any more important than him? He helped you when you came to the hospital. He helped you when you were tired and studying. He mopped the floors where you could take a break. But now that you're an RN, now that you're a nurse, it gives you the right to look down upon him. I know these people, and I just am astounded. And so when I speak about some things, I'm like, there are folks out there, y'all could do a little better. And if nothing else, you could clean up your damned attitude. We're all the same here. We're all in this together, brother, sister. We are all angels. When the angel appeared before John, he said, get up. You are as I am, my brother. We are all as the Lord. We are all angels. We are all creators' creations. And we are all light beings. So you go to school and become and become smart at something. And now that gives you the right to put down other people who don't have the same thing you do. Really. And that's what's going on. I mean, I've seen it in my family. I've seen it in close friends of mine. And because my job went to Mexico, along with almost 800 other jobs, and because I couldn't get a job as an engineer, along with, 40 other people who were looking for jobs in engineering and machining and stuff. And the shops that I could have gotten a job in were making parts for the company we all got laid off from. And so they didn't have work either. So they had to lay off employees. So there wasn't a job for any machinist or engineer within a 200-mile radius of down here. The job market was already full. So people's remarks to me at the time were, you're just too lazy and you don't give a damn. I'm sorry. I wasn't a rich bastard, but I made 40 grand a year and I thought I was richer than hell. I had $100 in my pocket and could give it freely to anyone at any time. And I did, simply because I felt I was rich enough at 40 grand a year, where these guys were making 3 times as much money as I was. And I was making them look good. Now, they lost their jobs too, and they couldn't get work either. I've seen one man who was my boss basically almost end up on the street because of what happened. Unbelievably horrible. And he got looked down upon as well, because you must not be trying hard enough because you don't have another job paying as much money when there aren't any jobs. We've all been humiliated in some kind of way. I mean, the fact that I did what I did, the fact that I could go sit with the other engineers at the Ford and Chrysler in Detroit and in Toronto and in Windsor, Canada, the fact that I could go to these other companies and show them how to fix their machines and how to save money, and especially how their workers wouldn't have carpal tunnel. And I mean, you know, I was doing fantastical work. It wasn't just me, but I had ideas that were working. And we all lost our jobs. We all lost our jobs. And we lost our faith. I know I sunk into a depression. We lost our leap of faith. We lost our leap of love because of all this. There was so much depression because of all this job loss that those things that we could be compassionate with, and many of my coworkers, I must admit, they gave to things. I mean, literally, here's $50. Don't worry about paying me off. If you don't got it, I understand. I mean, unbelievable, some of these people that I work with. Absolutely phenomenal. They had extra and they gave freely. Unbelievable. Some of the finest folks I ever worked with. Now, what does that have to do with now? I feel like with these new energies coming in, and I feel like that with having discussions with each other, that we are having an effect on a planet basis. And that Mother Earth is hearing my prayer, which is to, I hope other people hear this, whether through this medium of the video and this conversation, but maybe they will just feel it through the energy that I put into the earth in my prayers, and the energy and the light that I wish for all to feel and be. They already are these light beings, but they need to have their, their pilot light went out. That's a good analogy. These folks, their pilot light has gone out. And I got some matches, by golly. I got a lighter, Come on, let's get these folks' pilot lights lit again. Because they're all spiritual beings, they're all light beings, but their pilot light's gone out. That's an interesting point of view there. So let me put my glasses on and read what's been coming on. Wade, are you there still? Hi, Mr. Wade. Pretty sure he wouldn't like the book. They slandered him into it. No such thing. Hey, Pamela. Hi, Wade. I always give more than half of what I make. I can't do that now, but I give it as freely as I can. I love to build things. Exactly. Your neighbors. That's what I love about farmers market. Everyone is equal. Yeah. And there are those communities. There still are groups of folk, but because of the economic crisis that hit down here, We lost a lot of stuff here in South Georgia. I mean, people, I mean, we just lost a lot. It is so different when I drive into town now. I mean, I, I'm not trying to be racist here or anything, but I go into these stores or to Walmart or whatever, and everybody's Mexican. I don't see white people. They're all Mexican. Now we've got a nice population of the black community, and but they're from here. I mean, I'm sorry, there's several generations of here, and it's like I've known many black folk and friends and worked over the years here in Moultrie and Thomasville and around this area. I love some of these folks, really. I have no gripe with them, and as far as I know, they don't have any gripe with me. But I go in the stores and I used to see someone every time I went into a store, someone that I was an acquaintance. It's a small town. I go into the stores now. I don't know anybody. No one looks familiar because half to three quarters of the people in the store of a Mexican descent because of the chicken factory here in Georgia, in Moultrie. But to the point, though, the folks that I used to know, those jobs are all gone. The machine shops and these stores and then that one and then this thing, they're all gone. When I drive around to look at familiar places, the buildings are all empty or the building's entirely gone. There's just a vacant lot now. And I look around and go, in 10 years? Since 2008? This is what's happened? People that I knew, jobs, this, that, folks. It's like, I absolutely live in a different world now. And it's, basic town is there and this and that. But the people, the folks, the camaraderie, the folks who gathered and we did community theater. We were always doing some kind of artsy smartsy kind of project or something. That's all got so quiet and everything's because the people like me who had a 40 grand a year job, that's not a lot of money. But to me, I was a rich SOB, man. I was out of the poor category by a little bit, but I was not in the poor category anymore. Yay! And I made the best of it. And we created things. We were artistic. We played music. There were bands. We played for free, just for the hell of it. And I look around and it's like, but that place is closed. They used to have a stage and it was like a coffee shop and people would come in and play music. That's gone. That's gone. They used to have a little community farmers market thing. And, I would grow some squash or whatever. I'd just go into town just to hang out with people. Sometimes I would buy more than I took or could sell. But that was the point of the camaraderie of being around other folk. They don't have those. They've disappeared. And so when I go looking for some of these things, I look around and go, what the hell happened down here in South Georgia? But because of jobs being lost and shipped out, people losing their hearts, losing their jobs, losing their houses, losing their lives, losing their passion, and not being able to recover. And I have found out recently that the suicide rate and the overdose rate in my area has gone up 50% in 2 years. 50% in 2 years. So we went from 3 or 4 or 5 people maybe a year. We're getting 50 people to 100 people a year dying from overdoses or suicides around here. They've lost hope. I'm guilty. I lost hope. And I said, to hell with everybody. Y'all just bye-bye, right? Love sees no color. Absolutely. And the judgment. We all have to make it or none do. Well, that's something that I've been told we need to argue about. Now, not you and me, but I mean spiritually. And that might be something. Yeah, we already have the technology to have sustainable ventures. It's just that, yeah, it requires some money. But the people who have the money don't give a crap. Really, they don't. I've approached people and said, hey, I will donate an acre or two of my property for a venture. If you, but I don't have the money. You don't have to go anywhere, and if you'll help pay for some workers to come out here, I will donate my time because I'm on Social Security now. It's not about making money to me, but I would love to have a better garden. And I just can't, I physically can't do it anymore. So I'm like, help me, I've got some seeds and I've got some old plants and I've got this and that, but bring in other people who are poor, pay their gas money, and we'll start a community garden. You got enough cash. I mean, you make 120 grand a year. You can't spare $1,000 to help other people, and you come too. It's not like you're, come on. No, that's a waste of time. Of course it is, because you don't see the value of it. Other people do. We need wing makers, making wings for the angels. It's larger than most are aware. Very sad, way too much. But you changed, awoke. Well, I've been awake for a long time. That's been my unfortunate problem. I saw that tonight on a channel simply existing to show their superiority. Isn't it a shame? I mean, Miss Phoebe, I'm sorry, Pamela, for some reason, anyway, Miss Phoebe's from North Carolina. She pops in, and when I take my glasses off, your little symbols there are similar. But anyway, Miss Pamela, it's been said to me, because I've been meditating on it, what about the people who aren't going to get it? What about my friends and family who I'm just a kook job, and whatever I say is I'm just over the edge, and, F Dave, fire truck. And it's like, and I have to be thick-skinned about this. And I got to be like, okay, I have to stand up and do this job because I have to put the armor, because I am a prayer warrior. So I have to put up my little shield, and I have to say, okay, whatever you reject of me, whatever you wish upon me, and some of it's been quite negative, I might add. And just the fact that, family members have just literally, I'm dead to them. Bye, Dave, And I had to like, what the hell? Why can't they listen to me just a little bit? I'm their kin. We've known it. Nope, you're nuts. Goodbye. See ya. Okay. I'm over that. But in my meditation, in my prayers, and looking at, different videos and chat rooms, and, I lurk around because I want to see what people are up to. I want to see, I'm nosy in the respect that, where's their attitude coming from? Do they have love in their voice, or are they just piss poor and angry and about everything, And what I've realized is we got to concentrate on those who want to listen. We got to just say, look, we'll speak it. I still love you. You may be a moron and you may be an idiot, but I love you. And actually, I shouldn't call you any names. If you're not awoke, if you don't understand what we are trying to say as a collective, actually, if you can understand what we are desiring here, what's wrong with equality? Well, I make more money. I finish school. So big shit. I'm a plumber, and when your toilet stops up, you call me. Who's more important? I mean, we gotta let it go, because if we spend too much energy trying to get these people awake, if we, expend our energy in that direction, it's going to drag us down. It's like when I took lifeguard training many, many, many years ago. You'd get in the water, and it was always the test, but they always, you would have to disarm the victim in the water, because the first thing they would do would be to try to grab onto you and drag you both down. So you had to do this little twist and turn and grab them by the neck and in a way subdue them so that you could swim them to safety. And in that, I mean, back in the late 60s, when I was taking lifeguard training, I mean, I still remember that, how you spun them and how you did this and you went underwater and you brought them up. But you had control of the situation. You were there to save their life. But despite your efforts to save them, they would try to drown you. And right now, we're sort of lifeguards in a way. We are extending our love outwards beyond ourselves. But if this person is fighting their rescuer, if you will, I'm using the lifeguard terms, and I don't feel like I'm like a lifeguard in this thing. I just feel like a messenger. But just stay with me on the parallel here. These folks, they don't know that they're drowning. But then when we try to rescue them, then the first thing they do is put up a fight, like a drowning victim would. And so you have to subdue them, but it takes a lot of your own energy, so you don't drown with them. So what do? And we were told as lifeguards, if the person tries to drown you, leave them. It's not worth your life if you can't bring them to safety. Do not drown with them. Do your best, but understand that you drowning with them makes no sense. You must make that call. And I mean, we're all, I mean, I'm a teenager still. I'm looking at the guy going, what? Until I had to perform a rescue at a different time. And then I was like, oh my God, this person's going to kill me. I didn't want to die at the time, I was doing rescue. And this person fought me. We were in the ocean. And they had gotten pulled out with a riptide. It wasn't very far, but they were freaking. And so I knew what I knew, and I was a good swimmer, not scared of the water, been to the beach, blah, blah, blah. I jump in, okie dokie, not as a hero, but I knew what to do. But as soon as they started to drown me because they were freaking out, I had to backpedal and back away from them and go, you got to calm down. You got to calm down. I can take you to shore, but you got to calm down. And I'm just treading water, and and I'm like, you can't go in there and try, because they will drag you to the bottom and drown you as well. And so I'm like, this came to me within the last couple of days, because when talking with Brian at Milky Way Weekly and all of you actually, in realizing that there are folks who would drag us down, and they're floundering. Now, the best thing to do would be to just throw them a life preserver versus go right up to them and try to grab them and swim them back to shore. I know, bad kind of analogy there, but in a way, the biggest thing is we can't go down with them. We have to maintain our energies. We have to maintain our frequencies. And if these, and I call them idiots, and yeah, okay, and some of these people are they are acting moronic. I'm trying to be nice, because I could call them a bunch of other names, but moronic just kind of seems to fit, because they should know better. They do have intelligence, and it's like, well, you're just acting like a moron. Versus libtard, blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't matter. So I think I think and I meditate, and I'm like, okay, how do we work around this? Well, we extend our hand. We always must be respectful, regardless of what they think of us. Now, this is my message. I'm just repeating what I was told. For me, we've got to maintain our decency to them. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. And that's pretty basic, actually. And that, let me study on this just to have a second. We must remain compassionate to them. We must maintain a distance from them, meaning don't get too close as to drown, but always offer them a way out. Honor and respect are the two key things. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Let them give us their best shot at name calling. We are better than that. And I know I've been hurt by what other people tell me. I try to stay away from comments in some videos and things because people can be horrible. And I'm afraid to look, quite frankly, because I want to maintain my positive energy. So if somebody's got some shit ass kind of negative remark and I read it, oh crap, I don't know, so I don't want to take the wind out of my sails, so to speak. Now I know it's there. I'm not that kind of a chicken. I was an actor and I've been blessed out by the worst directors in the world and came out on top of it. But right now, it just feels like to me that I'm not quite ready to read some comments yet. I'm not quite ready to go back into. Now I read all y'all's comments and I'm fine with that. But I mean, some negative crap, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Okay. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I will tell you. But that's part of what's going to bring us down. So right now, with all the fluctuations, I'm just going to not look. Not because I'm chicken, all right? But I'm chicken in a way that I just want to maintain a good positive. And for some reason inside of me, I'm like, you're not quite ready yet to go deal with these negatives and push them aside, because I'm saying the words trying too hard doesn't quite make sense. It's like I'm trying to stay in this perfect state of meditation. It's a daily thing. And if I get pulled too much to one side, then I lose that focus and I lose that meditative state. It takes me out of whatever that alpha, mega, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever that state of mind is. And so it's not like I'm chicken to have somebody say something negative. It's really not that. But I just feel like at this time, I don't have to look. It's my choice. So I choose not to look right now so that I can maintain this. Now I know I'm going to go back through it. I'm going to be brave one day. It's okay. Enough's enough, asshole. Speaking to myself. Let's go look at these nasty comments and see what see what's there. But right this minute, that's not it for me. Okay, I'm a chicken. Actually, I'm a hawk. The chicken hawk. Oh, my nickname of Hawkeye has been around for a long time because I've been able to find things that are lost. I found a $12,000 ring for a woman. $12,000 ring. And she bought me dinner. $12,000 ring. Rubies and sapphires and diamonds. Oh my God. And a great big emerald. Oh, Jesus, it was beautiful. 12 grand. Found it on the street. Could have kept it in my pocket. I said, you know what? There are a lot of rich people in Thomasville. Oh, my God. And it slipped off this rich lady's hand. It was her mother's, and we were talking and blah, blah, blah. She goes, I can't find my ring since I left the theater building. And I went, oh, then this is yours. Oh, my God, my $12,000 mother's ring. Oh, where did you find it? Talk about being lucky. Let me go back up here and see what you wrote, Miss Pamela. Yeah, hold up a mirror. Absolutely. And what is SMH? SMA. Yeah, SMH. I need to see for themselves. Yes, the youth. They need to just leave us alone. If they hate us, leave us. Exactly. And, I keep saying, if you don't have anything good to say, just zip it. Keep it to yourself, some of them are in deep fear, and the other ones I think have gone beyond fear to a case of, I'm just going to, why worry, be happy? Well, okay, why should you worry? Well, but there are things going on. Shouldn't you pay attention? Well, I do these things and everybody else seems to think it's okay. I'm socially acceptable. So should I listen to you, Dave? Okay, you got a point. Why should you? If you don't think there's anything to fear, if you don't think anything is happening, if you don't feel the necessity at your 66 years of age, you know you ain't getting younger, damn it. And and this is it. There are no bad comments. I love you. Well, there have been, but that's another story. And I love you as well. I do. That's a new car. Did she give you a reward? Yeah, her reward was she bought me dinner. Seriously, she bought me dinner. It must have cost her $4. I'm a cheap date. But I have her friendship, and it was more than that. But to the point, it was a $12,000 ring, and I didn't have to pull it out of my pocket. Now, as a rock hound and stuff, I knew that ring was worth some bucks. I know what emeralds and rubies are and how they were set in that ring. Oh my God. But anyway, but see, I never would have felt right about it though. I mean, if I had thought that the ring in my pocket was hers when I had no idea, it was really a matter of coincidence. But it's like the story I've told about me and my friend catching that man who had that accident on the way home. I never expected to, hold a man's leg that was, most right below the knee. It had been chopped off in the accident, and his truck almost blew up. And it's the middle of the night, and there's nobody there, and we're saving this guy's life. The reward in that is he's alive and he's taking care of his daughter. And, those kinds of things, like, man, the rewards are so much more than monetary or recognition. And my friend, he still has issue with it. He can't get it out of his head. And he says, well, you always bring it up. And I go, no, you do. But I'm just using it as a reference. And he's an alcoholic partially because of what he had to do. He pulled the man out of the truck and put the fire out while I was on the cell phone and getting blankets and stuff out of the car to treat the man for shock. And I had I was ready to tourniquet the whole 9 yards, man. And it didn't take but a second for me to figure this out, because of my Boy Scout training and all the other stuff and just life in general. And I must have been on a battlefield before and handling wounded soldiers or something in a previous life. I've been to the Andersonville prison site in Andersonville, Georgia. I used to do puppet shows there twice a year. And they used to have, I don't know if they still have the Andersonville thing, but they would have a reenactment with real cannons and like a Civil War battle. And oh my God. But I've sat where the prison was, inside the prison area, and the thousands of men that lived in this small area and what they went through. I was sitting on the grass and looking over this area, and I just sobbed. All those lives and all the blood and the sweat and the tears is still in that earth there. I could feel it. I could sense it. And I was like, oh my God. And well, then as the sun went down, then I saw some of the spirits that are still there at the Andersonville jail. Do you know what Andersonville is? Have you ever heard of Andersonville? It was the southern prison for the Confederate. It was Confederate jail for the Northerners. It's down south. And it was horrific because these folks who were running the jail were just a bunch of kids. It's Andersonville, Georgia. And I think at the highest point, it housed like 12,000 soldiers, Union soldiers. And this place is like maybe 8 acres or 10 acres. It's really small. And they tried to tunnel out. They literally got to the point where they were killing each other inside the camp and eating each other. I mean, it just, and in fact, the prisoners, they had a revolt on the inside of the prison during the 4 or 5 main years that Andersonville was in action, that they actually held a trial of their own soldiers in the prison and then took them out and had them shot. And the commandant of the prison was more than happy to do so. Yes, just soldiers. Now, some of the soldiers were criminals, but they were all soldiers first. Well, you know, but some of the soldiers were so diabolical, their own soldiers wanted them killed, shot at a firing squad. And those men are buried separately from any of the other prisoners that died at Andersonville. They're separate. It's 5 or 6, maybe 7. And it was a small cadre of Union soldiers. But it was the Union soldiers who put them on trial. And it was the Southern Commandant. Well, yeah, go ahead. You know, we'll shoot them for you. I think they even gave some of the Union soldiers, they were part of the firing squad. That's how serious they were. I mean, to give a Union soldier a gun to shoot one of their own men, I mean, you know, it was really far out. But that's how much they were like, yeah. So they put justice upon themselves. And the Southern Commandant, he had no choice. I mean, if you crossed the line, the dirt line, the string line, you were shot. That was it. Deep dark frequency at Andersonville. Oh my gosh. The horror, the pain, the agony, the anguish. Oh. And they tried digging tunnels underneath and that made it to the thing. And, you know, amazing. It's an amazing story about Andersonville and the men who lived and survived through it. Absolutely phenomenal. And I feel sorry for the Southerners because they're eating bushes. They don't have any food. I mean, if you live down here in the South, you know, it's not like big. There are farming, you know, things now, but back in those days, people only had little handhold gardens and stuff. They didn't have great big tractors and farms and mules and stuff like that. Andersonville was not necessarily a place where there were plantations. Lots of hills, a little difficult to maintain. But at the same time, you know, folks just lived off of trapping and a little fishing and stuff like that. They couldn't feed 10,000. They couldn't feed 2,000 people, let alone themselves. So they were handicapped right from the get-go. Now, by the time them prisoners got to Andersonville, the folks in Andersonville, they were young kids and mothers and daughters, and there were a couple of old men who couldn't go north to fight. But by that time they got to Andersonville, them Southern folk were so mad at them Yankees, they would really, I think I would just shoot you, sir, and save us all a lot of damn trouble. That's what they would say. Sir, I would rather shoot you. It is cheaper to get another musket ball than it is to try to feed you or to waste any of my time upon you, sir. And I mean, that's how it was. And so there were prisoners that went out and worked. There were some that were faithful and didn't try to escape. There were a few attempts at escape, but not many, and which is rather amazing. But the commandant of that prison, he had to maintain order, and it was his job as a Union, you know, commandant of the prison to do the best he could. Hey, Wade, how you back, my friend? So with all the horror and everything, these people, a bunch of farmers in South Georgia in the 1860s, have to build a prison and try to feed and house all these people. I mean, there wasn't even really a decent train that went down there, you know? And the supplies were all blockaded. So even their own supplies, and were they going to share with them Northerners? Hell no. I don't much blame them in a way, you know. But the inhumanity of humanity and back and forth, what does that matter? Well, I was speaking earlier, I think, about what my relative is Robert E. Lee, and I'm proud of that fact. And I don't have the absolute stamp he was your relative, but I've went back through. And the thing is that I love mapping. Before Robert E. was a general, he was a surveyor. He served a lot of the western areas. He was out in Texas. He was doing this. He was a surveyor, but he was a gentleman. And he married George Washington's granddaughter. Washington gave them the house at Arlington, which sits across the Potomac from Washington. And so, as a wedding gift to the Lees and to his granddaughter, librarians love maps too. I like libraries too, by the way, which is just kind of, that's kind of goes with it, I think. Cartography, anyway. But so after the war, they wanted to hang Robert E. for treason. Now, when he spoke with Lincoln, and Lincoln offered him the job to be the commander-in-chief of the Northern Army, Lee said, quite frankly, I must stay with my Virginia. Now, that to me is a gentleman. That to me is someone who is honest, truthful, and his soldiers, him and his horse, who I can't remember the horse's name, that they would go into battle with him because he was such a gentleman. He would walk with his men. And he wouldn't, they said, honorable, past honorable. And then so after the war, and he's like, I don't want to kill any more of my soldiers. This has got to stop. And I mean, him and Grant went to school together. They knew each other. And so it was like, yes, Lee had lost a lot of things. Yes, the trains have been cut off. And yes, he still could have done some other things. But as an honorable man, he said, no more. I cannot see any more. Oh, the ceremony with the Trumps in the UK? Beautiful. Yep, First Lady. And they were flying that baby Trump thing. I know that there's a lot of folks in the UK, switching subjects here since you brought it up, Wade, that have realized that the crappy news that they get also from the United States, they're finding out that Trump ain't as bad as the media wants to make him out. And there are a lot of UK, folks in the UK that are like, hey, Trump is an example, And I mean, so Obama went to, God, I hate to say, what I was just thinking. Obama took his man boy wife to meet the Queen. Come on. And everybody knew it was man boy to the Queen, Jiminy Christmas. Trump takes his lovely wife, who is our First Lady. Proud to say that. I hated even remotely saying that Michelle Obama was the First Lady. Make me puke. First man, not lady. Change the subject, Dave. That's an irritating subject to me. If you're a gay couple, then say you're a gay couple. Okay. But to just, that's another one. If you're going to be a particular way, then be it. Be proud of who you are, But this other stuff is like crap. The Trump-Putin meeting is going to floor some folk. Oh, my goodness. I got a feeling they're going to talk spaceships because Putin's already warned. Putin warned Obama publicly in Russia that if he didn't start doing the UFO disclosure, the Russians were going to do the disclosure. Well, then the election happened, and then the Trump thing, blah, 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 and things started changing. And then it was like Putin, he still speaks to the Russian people about the aliens that have been visiting Russia for so long. I mean, in the late 40s, they had a book of aliens that they handed out to the Russian soldiers and to the KGB and stuff like that, because they're good aliens and there are bad ones. So they were all given these little pamphlets of what the aliens look like, mostly drawn pictures, and then a description in Russian. This one's a good one, and he's from here, and please don't shoot him. Now, if you beat this guy, shoot him in the head and chop his head off because he will regenerate and come back to life. I mean, they had these things in the 40s and 50s in Russia. These folks have known about this for a long time. And so Putin has just been like, he hasn't slowed down. The Russian people know they're there. There's all kinds of spaceships that fly around the Ukraine and stuff, photographed all over the place, and it's like about a month ago now, Trump said, "Ooh, we need a Space Force." From out of nowhere, he just blurts this out. Minor disclosure. NASA back, a few months ago, the pictures of the UFO with the Navy fighters, little tiny mini disclosure. Him and Putin are going to have nobody in the room. The two of them going to have a chat. And I bet you it's going to be more than about Michelle Obama being a man. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be talking less about the Democrats than they are about some really serious stuff. Now, the other word about that, and I'm like, it kind of makes sense. Everybody's been hearing about NESARA, or NESARA, the money reset and the ZIM and all this other kind of stuff. Okay. Well, there have been some headway, and part of it, we'll see. But the Queen of England owes us a crap load of money. And Trump's going to meet with the Queen. And he's going to meet with Theresa May. He's not meeting with the Parliament no, he's going straight to the Queen and Theresa May. They're going to have a little chit-chat. Then he's going to meet Putin. Now, is Trump laying down the roots like, okay, UK, we're 10 times bigger than you and we'll wipe your ass off the map. Now, Queenie, you're going to cut this shit out. We've had enough. I'm going to go meet with Vlad next week. And if you even sneeze wrong, we're going to take you out, bitch. Now, that if I could have a little conversation with the Queen, I think I'd be, like, hey, biatch. But to the point. I think he's been very strong with everybody else right out front. You think he's going to be candid with the Queen? I don't think so. I think he's just going to be just as bold and brash as he already is. He's hey, listen here, Queen. I don't give a damn if you are the monarch of England. Big freaking deal. Bitch, you've been stealing money from us and you've been holding your own people down and we've had enough. The Bank of London, who's controlling a lot of this money and stuff, guess what? Me and Vlad have a plan. We're going to initiate the new yuan from China that's gold backed. Russia's been collecting their gold, so the ruble will be gold backed, not some kind of oil funky based crap. They've got real assets and they're backing it. And there's already rumors that there are new banknotes already printed in the United States that says United States Treasury note, not Federal Reserve note, but United States Treasury note or similar. So the underground rumor mill is saying that when they get out, when Trump and Putin meet, that's going to be like the final handshake. Okay, I've met with the Queen. I've met with these buttholes in Europe. I've met with Macron and all this other stuff. And me and Nigel Farage had a really good time together. He's his buddy. And so it's like, all right, getting all these ducks in a row. Then he goes to meet Vlad privately with no notes. Vlad knows English. He can speak English better than a lot of other people. He refuses to speak English in public. He uses a translator because he doesn't want to give away his secret. And his secret is he understands every word. So when him and the Don go in the room and close the door, they won't even need an interpreter. They'll be able to just have a good chit chat. And you don't think they ain't been on that red phone having conversations, setting this mess up? Oh, they know exactly what's going on. And this could very well be the reset of the monetary system. Now, I didn't say crash. I said reset. They have made extensive plans and tried to cover all the bases. Trump's frozen assets since December the 21st of 17 of all these major players who have conducted raunchy business and who have stolen blah, blah, blah. He's frozen their assets of corporations across the world that have any dealings in the United States. Anything they can shut down, they have. I mean, the Clintons were flying coach, for God's sake. Their assets have been frozen. Why else would they be on a commercial flight to anywhere? Oh, my gosh. Now, the next thing was that really Bill and Hillary. Hillary died. That's her sister. I'm sorry, her cousin. The Hillary that's out now is not the Hillary that was running for president. It's not the same Hillary. Her cheekbones are different. They're too high and defined. That's not Hillary Clinton. The person they took a picture of with Bill and the plane and all that the other day, that's not the real Hillary, y'all. That's too young. I don't give a damn what kind of facelift. They couldn't have done that to her. That's a different person who is close to what Hillary looks like. Yes, she's had some reconstruction, and yes, she's had a little bit of this and that, but her cheekbones are too high. That's not Hillary. It's not. Now, it was said 2 or 3 years ago that Hillary had a clone and that she had a body double because the real Hillary was so sick. The 9/11, when she was there and fell down and they threw her in that damn van, that was it for her. The person who came down the steps was not Hillary. We all know that. That is who took Hillary's place that day. The real Hillary Clinton ain't here no more. How about that one? Why hasn't Hillary been arrested? Because how are you going to explain to the public that the person who is posing as Hillary isn't Hillary, and that Hillary died that day or relatively soon around that 9/11 time? Actually, it was reported she lasted a couple days, but that her body double that came down them stairs that day has taken Hillary's place since that point. And I'm telling you, I mean, I'm old enough or young enough to remember Bill and Hillary running for office and all that stuff. That's not Hillary Clinton that's going around right now. Also, Bill Clinton 6 months ago was drooling so badly he couldn't even speak. It's like, I don't think that's Bill either. Now, whether it's a clone or something, but there is a facial different structure, not as close as what Hillary's is too obvious with her cheeks. That's not Hillary. I mean, I'm sorry, and I've tried to get some pictures. Other people have showed the differences, but I'm telling you that Hillary may be still alive, maybe, but the reason I believe that she hasn't been arrested is how can they arrest a body double that's not really her? They can arrest the imposter, but then they haven't arrested Hillary. So that's another big secret that could come out. Why hasn't she been arrested? Because she's dead. Anybody thought of that one? Just tossing it out there. Let me put my glasses on. You guys have been chatting about something. Buy Zim, love Nigel. It's going to be epic, David. Yes, it is. Now, I hope they don't disappoint us. You know what I'm saying? But even the two of them meeting is going to they've already started some really cool stuff between Russia and them. So with that said, yeah, Kent Dunn did say that, right? But here's the other thing. Regardless of what Kent says, I did my own little research, and then he said she was dead. And I was like, so I had already kind of figured that something was up because of the face changes, the body changes, the height, the hair. I mean, it was like, hang on. Hillary just collapsed into a back of a van. She needed people to help her walk. And this broad 2 hours, I'm sorry, this lady walks out 2 hours late down the steps like there is nothing wrong. Oh man, what I was like, they got away with it. There were those of us that are going, that's not Hillary. That can't be Hillary. And everybody was like, oh, Hillary looked so good after she went to her daughter's house. Oh my God. You know. Well, then Kent came out and said, well, you know, the real Hillary died, you know, months ago, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know, I kind of had that same thought. But I was just like, I'll just, you know, I'm just that conspiracy that, you know, all right, we'll see. But the more I see these pictures come out of this, quote, new Hillary and the pictures, it ain't her. It's the cheekbones. You know, they're too rounded. They're too defined. Hers were more this and a little more. Oh, maybe she lost weight. Oh, give me a break. It ain't Hillary, you know. There's other things with the mole on the side of her face. There are other things too, you know. And it's like, come on, you know. But with Trump and Putin, the two of them, my gut feeling, spirit side is whether they actually open up and say, yeah, it is the truth. Well, I'm saying they call it conspiracy, you know, but you understand what I mean, Miss Pamela. So, but Putin, and whether they actually disclose the UFO thing, I think they're just by meeting and having that conversation, they're going to be on such a common ground that there's no way anyone's going to be able to dissuade them from what is going to happen after they meet. Okay, whatever that might be, whether it's a reset, but they're gonna meet, and their meeting is going to finalize some stuff that they've already put into action. Now, Kent and Drake and Sam Muggsy, they've all been discussing in the next few months. You know, the NESARA and things are going to change. That the gold back, that the Federal Reserve is going to be taken back. That there will be a reset. And quite frankly, I think, like for me being on Social Security, did you know, this is a fact. Now, Bernie Sanders brought this out. And I would almost vote for Bernie now, but except that he's really showed his turncoat. So, but I mean, some of his ideas are practical. They really are. But, you know, because he's Bernie, oh my God, he's Bernie. So anyway, Bernie discussed during his campaign about the Social Security. Now, when I got of age to get Social Security, they had cut my Social Security from $1,250 a month to $825 a month because they passed a law. And they said that before the law, when Obama took over, it was already in the works when Bush left, but Obama signed it. And that was when all these immigrants and everything are coming in. Yes. Yeah, but Bernie, you know what? Of all the people in the Senate and the House of Representatives, he's the poorest of the bunch. So, yeah, he might have a couple of houses, but he was a senator and a this and that and the other thing. He can make investments, him and his wife, but he's the poorest of the bunch. I mean, Senator McCain has got like gazillion dollars more than Bernie does, you know, and McCain's supposed to be that all high and mighty anyway. But so folks are, you know, putting Bernie down. But when you look at where he's at in the realm of things, he's one of the poorest of the senators. So he's much more honest than they are. And I found out during the elections. Now, did they pay Bernie off to keep his damn mouth shut? Probably. Somebody gave him a house to keep his mouth shut. But what Bernie brought up about Social Security is that they passed a law to put a cap on Social Security. So when you make $100,000, if you make $101,000, you only pay in Social Security for the first $100,000. So if you make $10 million a year, you only have to pay into Social Security for the first $100,000. Now, ain't that a crock of shit? You got $1 million, and you mean you can't put $100,000 in Social Security? I mean, 10% of my salary went into it. There was no cap for me. If I made $40,000, I paid $4,000 in to my Social Security. You make $4 million, and you only pay $100,000 on it. They voted it in. Now, guess what? Bernie wants to remove the cap. That would make Social Security solvent for 1 billion years. And these people can afford it. Okay, so put the cap at $1 million. You know what? Their excuse is this. But that's $100,000. Yeah, but you made $1 million. Well, so? But you want me to pay in $100,000. Well, I only made $40,000 and I had to pay in $4,000. What? And you're trying to compare your $1 million and $100,000 to my $40,000 and $4,000? What I could do with that $4,000? And you're bitching because you have to pay taxes on up to $100,000. Oh, and you think that's unfair, even though you make $1 million a year. Now that's got to stop. And one of the things I wholeheartedly dislike about Trump is he has not even broached the subject about us folks on Social Security. And I think it's just absolutely ridiculous. If Trudeau wins here in Canada next year, I'm out of here. The U.S. will be getting a new citizen. You can come to South Georgia. California is beautiful, yeah, but California is not going to make it through this change. California ain't going to be California when this is over, Miss Pamela. It's not. I'm sorry, but it's not. The earth changes are going to rearrange California. I can't tell you what it's going to be, but it's not going to be California when it's through. There are too many volcanoes fixing to pop. Way too many. There's too much stress on the plates on the California coast. There's too much stress. There's too much stress from the West Pacific that has not transformed. Yep, create until then, you know. There are other places in California. I mean, I've been to California. I've been in the redwoods, and I spent the night there in those huge trees. And not Yellowstone. There's a park that's right outside of Reno in California. And, I mean, we camped there. There was still snow on the ground in July that year. And not Yellowstone, something. Yosemite Park. Anyway, beautiful. And we left there, and then on the way into Reno, into Nevada, you know, we were there at oh man, the Donner Camp. Yeah, it was Donner Camp. And so you know, and saw what those folks had to go through and this and that. And anyway, but it's beautiful up there. But the seismic activities, the geysers going off, and the earth changes that must occur in these next 6 months, especially. My prayers are out to all of you. I mean it. I've got friends in California. I've got friends in Nevada and in different places and family members. And they're like, well, it's just you know, you have hurricanes in Florida and we got quakes out here. Yeah, but when a hurricane comes, I can, you know, get in a safe location. When an earthquake comes and it opens up and swallows things, it's a little hard to get out of the way, you know. So earthquakes to hurricanes, to me, just don't compare, you know. And so it's like I continue to pray. And We've been told that it's not going to be as bad as it could have been, but it's still going to be rough. The earth is going to shake, supposedly nonstop for like 5 minutes. When this thing happens, think of the earth shaking at an 8.5 or 9 magnitude for 5 minutes, wherever you are on the world, that it's just going to shudder. Now, if that's true, okay, I'm just repeating what's kind of been related, but I just think, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. But now, in the meantime, going back to my original topic and subject, is that we are all taking this leap of love, this leap of faith. We are all extending out. Yes, I got my surfboard ready. I mean, I really do. I got a board. I got 2 kayaks and a 17-foot canoe with motors, and I got my stuff ready. If the water starts to rise, I can ride them waves. I got plenty of PFDs, personal flotation devices. I got enough to float me and 5 other people. I'm ready. But not necessarily for that. But I mean, that's my normal camping gear, but I am ready. You only got a board, but that's okay. It works. Just keep your legs out of the water for the sharks and stuff. But, but if we all just continue on as we are, those of us who are woke or understand what's going on, we just got to keep sharing this love with even those who disagree and those who refuse to want to wake up. And we need to just stop calling them names and stupid. We just really need, because that's just negative, and that, there are many times when, getting called a neighbor crazy, blah, blah, blah. You going off the edge. I want to go, I want to retaliate with words. And I, it's like, don't do that. Stop that. Don't do that. And it's true, because it's useless energy on my part or anybody's part to respond in that way. But to the point, though, so now I'm actually, now that I was like, I want to get back at this person and tell them they're full of shit. Now I go, I still love you. And regardless of what you think. So I'm like Mr. Compassion, I guess. But it's a real compassion, because I understand they know not what they do. They're not getting it. So why should I be cruel back if they're not going to understand it? I mean, if you know anything about like dog training or any kind of animal training, if you bat them on the nose, they'll shy away every time you put your hand out. You can't do that. Well, that's basically, in a way, every time I get a nasty remark, if I go slap them in the nose or whatever, they're going to back away and not want to listen. So in so many ways, they've already stopped listening. And so the best I can do now is just say, I still love you. It's okay. And just be nice. Great. Now I have to go in and remove some comments. Kidding. Well, but here's the point, Miss Pamela. I mean, there are times when, I know that I can be a little snarky, but at the same time, I'm like, but do you have to be? And I will have almost written the thing and go to hit comment and go, oh, crap. Let me back up here. Oh, let me delete this and just, okay, I think this and this and this, but I don't need to be snarky about it. And okay. And therefore, I'm not getting cussed out as much either, on some of my snarky remarks. But because other people are snarky, and I just kind of fell right in with it. But now it's like, man, and even today, me three, even today in my reactions to some of this stuff with the Congress, now it really has been a big humorous joke to me. But at the same point, it's really serious, I mean, in a way, I kind of got caught up with other people. And when I got offline from it, I was like, here you are preaching to folks to not get caught up in all these kinds of things. And then you went off the rails, for an hour and a half or 2 hour rant, But I kind of felt like it was all in fun. It is so ridiculous, but yes, it's true, and it's like, I'd much rather laugh about it, but it really is a serious situation. Because this is what we've become, And so it's like, well, all right. But so I was literally going to beat myself up over some of the stuff I said earlier, and I was like, "Oh, come on, cut it out," you know. I spoke the truth, from what these things are, and it's like so. And yeah, okay, I was snarky about it and really lame and coming up with stuff, but the truth of the matter is, it is the truth. Lionel was putting it out there as the truth of what these idiots, these moronic idiots, are trying to push over on us. And it's like, okay, so I reacted, but I could have been a bully. I mean, I could have just went straight face and said, these people are just a roll. These people are so nasty. These people are, and these people are, and I chose, but I couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't keep a straight face then if I wanted to. It's like, this has gone beyond ridiculous, but it's time for popcorn. Make your popcorn and use real butter for God's sakes, and that's all that matters. You stand in your truth, right? Well, now I stand in the truth from what I know of the truth as far as that goes. The rest of 2018 is going to be crazy, amazing, and unbelievable. And the only thing that I would make an addendum to your statement there, you say an unbelievable for some. It's going to be unbelievable for all of us. Even those of us who are kind of expecting things. I mean, I'm still amazed, that this little tidbit came out or that over there came out. And it's like, oh, holy mackerel, So I think you're right all the way towards the end, but it's going to be for all of us, Mr. Wade. That's I would, not just some of us, every single one of us is going to be amazed. And after being bullied for so long, you realize how it feels and do not want to impose that frequency on others. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is that when you're in a chat room or something, or you're making comments of somebody else's video, and I read some of the other comments and I go, man, this guy needs to get his ass chewed, I mean, because he's being a dick and I just want to chew his ass, and then I realize, hang on. Is it your place to chew him? And how should you chew him? Should you just give him good information with a positive attitude? And, so it's like, okay. So, but I'm just acting normal, I'm not trying to be rude or crude or anything. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to be a little snarky here. But then I realize that, there are times, sometimes I'll type out the snarky bit just to say I did it and then back it out before I comment and erase most of the comment. And then I hit comment, and then there's only one sentence instead of 3 paragraphs, I have felt the same way. We too, David. Yep. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that because we're aware of our behavior now, and because we're aware of our actions. So when you start to be snarky and you go, wait, this isn't the time or the place, and this is really wasted. Do I need to contribute to that? So as soon as you have that thought, you're already so much more enlightened than the rest of the group, which is something I'm going to do a separate video on. But I just want to bring it out with the two of you here. The three of us just have to chat, which is true. But I'm noticing, folks, and I've kind of brought this up before, and I got to take my glasses off because I just hate that thing. But folks that I looked up to 2 years ago, as far as, and I'm using this word lightly, but I mean it with the utmost of respect. I looked upon them as gurus, as enlightened beings, as people with knowledge that I hope they would share some with me so that I could see where I was on this spiritual journey. See if they have information that was pertinent to me or whatever, right? And so, and now in my own mind, I always put them above me because I felt like they were on YouTube or they had a this or they Maybe they had a blog talk radio show or something, that drew me to them to listen to them in the first place. And so I didn't revere them or like bow down and praise them, but I was giving them, I realize now, more honor than maybe they deserved. I hate to even say it like that, but it has been more truth than not, which is disappointing to me. And so, what the other thing that I've noticed is that there are other people like me who are starting to speak out where we haven't before. And that even though we have spoken to other people over the years and things, we've just been that crazy nutcase. And so that now folks are thinking either we're so crazy, we're worth listening to now because the earth and the world is so nutso, we might actually have a point of view now. And with that, we may be worth listening to for any kind of information that might make sense to them. So these people that I look to now, and I have great difficulty listening to these people. And I mean, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Did you regress or have I progressed? Now, I try my best not to gauge where am I on the sliding scale of spirituality. I am who I am. I'm doing what I do. And I just, of all of my prayers, is just that I can maintain, continue. And if there is a way to get better at this, then that's my wish. To reach as many people possible with love and compassion. Okay. These folks, though, well, nobody's donated in a while, and my numbers have gone down, and they're not speaking of spiritual things anymore. They're talking about worldly stuff. They're talking about, well, if the thing goes down and I won't have a job. Well, wait a minute. Isn't part of this whole NESARA and this reset and all of this new age stuff, isn't it about that money doesn't matter? That hopefully that the replicators and the med beds and all these new technologies that already exist will come out. That if you can make something with a machine and once you have the machine, you won't have to buy anything else. And if you don't like this toy, you can put it back in the machine and program it and it'll turn into something else. Sort of like a 3D printer. The 3D printers that are out now are going to be very similar in a lot of ways to some of the replicators that are going to be out. Okay. Now, the 3D thing was to get people used to the fact that you can have this little machine in your house or garage and you can make stuff. You can program it, put the stuff in, and you can make things. That's cool. Back in the day, we used to have what was called a vacuum form. We used to make stuff as kids in the 60s with these little plastic things and hot blah, blah, blah. Now you can't find them anymore. But anyway, the art of vacuum forming things with plastic and other materials is still alive, though. They use it in manufacturing for mold making and things. So here are these people who have been preaching for years, some of them, about how we are all equal. We were all in this together. And now they're like, but I don't have enough gold. What if this goes down? And wait a minute. You've been talking about the reset. Well, yeah, but I don't have any gold. My bank account. Hang on. Whoa, hang on. Wait. Go back. I thought this was about that we were all going to get like an equal share, and that a bunch of us, because of our back pay and this, like the money they stole from us, baby boomers, $400 a month or more was stolen from me right off the top. Just pay me that back. Oh my God, it'd be thousands of dollars and what I could do with that money. I wouldn't have to get millions. I'd be tickled to death to get my back pay from Social Security if they just reinstated it, And so it's like, in these other people, they've got this and that and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, wait a minute, hang on. Now you're worried about comfort. Now you're worried about money. Now you're worried about gold and Bitcoins. You folks changed your tune. What happened? And now you're talking like, well, the trees and the ground and the Mother Earth and stuff. And I'm like, did you just take a stupid pill? Or did I just like leap the mess right over the top of you? Because now I find myself looking backwards, if you will, and going, wait a minute, you got stuck in the road and I'm further down the road. I'm not trying to make, comparisons, but I find myself further down the road looking back going, wait a minute, I thought you were in front of me. What happened? As some type of explanation of this. And because one of the things that I swore I wouldn't do was try to compare my spiritual awakenness or whatever to somebody else. Like, well, I'm more enlightened than you, or I know more about this stuff. I can't go there. Can't go there. And so, but at the same time, when in my observations of looking around at those people that I highly respected and honored, I'm looking on them now going, what happened? What happened? So in my views with other people are saying the same thing about people they knew. Maybe it's some of the same, but that's not the point. The point is they realize that somehow sorry about that. That somehow it seems that they have passed them in this race. It's not a race. It's not a race. No, skip it. Skip that. I don't know. It's this awareness of reality, I guess, that they're like still mired somehow in the mud, and that somehow we just learned how to step lightly on the mud without sinking in. And there is a trick to walking across mud, by the way. And it's almost like walking on water. And it's really cool when you can do it. But to the point, though, I hate to say that I'm looking back at these people or that I have passed them, but I don't know how else to explain it, because where I thought they had more information, now I listen to them and all I hear is babble crap. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. And I'm like, what happened? What happened? And then when I'm talking with other folks like you and we share and things like that, it's like, well, folks are like, man, Dave, you're so enlightened. And I'm like, I'm just in kindergarten. And then I realized, hang on, wait a minute. Let's look at this as grade school. And I was talking with Brian at Milky Way the other night about R. Wayne. We were both in the chat when Wayne Steiger was on the other day having a little rant. And Wayne was trying to explain his experience that he had on the mountain with the trees and the wholeness and that the rocks are alive. And I told Brian on the screen, I said, I'm speaking honorably of Wayne, but I thought he already realized that. Well, but he thought it, but he hadn't felt it. He knew sort of in his heart that, yeah, the earth is alive and rocks. And so he was like believing, but then it happened to him that, aha, oh my God, the rock just talked to me. Oh my God, the trees just imparted knowledge on me. He had respect for them. He understood that, yes, these beings and rocks and things, but he had not actually honestly experienced that feeling of the rocks and the trees speaking to him and really connecting with him. So I was surprised. I mean, because trust me, I'm not trying to put him down, because he is in search of himself and spiritual, and he is trying to help us all along. So I was shocked in a good way, but also shocked where I thought he had already reached that point. And so I'm like, well, holy crap, I've been talking to trees and rocks for 20 years. Now, where does that put me as far as kindergarten or first grade, second grade? I'm like, well, wait a minute. These folks who I thought understood this, some of them that are now just really getting it. Oh my God. They have talked a good line and they thought they understood it. But then they had that ultimate aha moment. And I'm so glad Mr. Wayne had it. All right. And I'm not speaking bad of the man, But in my watching and listening and everything, I kind of felt that he already had that experience, but he hadn't. And I'm proud that he has now. It's going to take him a couple weeks to figure this one out because it's an awesome, unbelievable. Oh my God. When you get that aha moment that the rocks can talk to you, and that they do if you'll listen. I mean, oh my God. And that the trees and the planet, and, his aha moment was a really big one. And I'm proud for him. And I pray that other people will have that aha moment. And, I know that I've had almost aha moments. I look back at there, they're like mini ha-has. That's an old joke. But anyway, mini ha. But so, and I'm not trying to like grade myself, but at the same point, my brain, not my heart, but my brain was looking for just a reference point, like, well, I thought I was coming out of kindergarten and maybe I was in second grade. Well, now I'm looking back, and I mean that just as a retrospect. I'm looking at other folks and going, hang on, they haven't had that aha moment yet. Oh man. Oh crap. That's why they're still stuck. They have talked about it, but they haven't had that aha. Sure enough, up the spine, make your hair stand out like this, and you feel you're a leaf in the top of the tree. When you hit that aha moment, there's no coming back. And so I've looked at these other folks thinking because they speak a good line. And let me retract that. In their minds, they think they understand. And in their mind, they do. Oh, the earth is alive and the trees are alive and we must respect everything. But they're missing a soul part. There's something they haven't had, that ultimate aha, Mother Earth, come up your Kundalini spine, however you want to pronounce it or explain it. But it just goes through you, up your spine, out the top of your head, and to the top of the trees. And you are the trees. And it doesn't take LSD or mushrooms to do it. Now it's a lot more fun, but, and more intense, I might add, especially with mushrooms. Boy, being a tree is really cool. But so in watching these other folks, and I still respect them and honor them, for some reason, I had not suspected that their aha moments were not the same as mine. And then, does that make me better than them? I don't think so. I just thought that we were like together on this, and that we were like mutually going along, And now I'm looking at them like, well, wait a minute. I have to go back and talk to these folks because they have not had that aha moment. They still don't really get it. They're speaking around it, but they have not experienced it. And I can't, give them how they do it or whatever, but they're just talking it versus experiencing it. And I was so proud of Mr. Wayne the other day because he blurted it out. I've had this experience. I've had this aha moment. Wonderful. I'm so proud, really. But there again, I think, oh my God, I've been having this for a long time. Am I further along than I think I am? Not that I'm not trying to be anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, the folks that I was looking up to haven't even had certain aha moments. Oh man. Now they still have valid information. I still respect them and I still honor them. And I'm praying they have that aha moment because they've been talking a good long for a while, but they've just been talking it and haven't felt it. So I'm going to pray harder for them folk because they really are trying. And they've gotten wayward or something has kept them off of the path or however it's happened to them. And with all this energy and negativism, and I've seen a few of these people go read the comments and get so entangled in the comments, they have lost their faith in human beings. And it's like, that's one of the reasons why I won't read comments. Not now, because I want to maintain a flow. And so this one particular person has gotten really upset and come out of his focus to, God damn these sons of bitches in their fucking remarks. Oh my God. Whoa, oh, wait, hang on. Whoa, what happened to Mr. Guru? You just spouted off, and you just didn't say, oh, to hell with them people in there. No, you went off the chain cussing folks' remarks. And when I looked at some of the remarks, I was like, he really overreacted there. I didn't see that much anger there, and the need for him to go like off the chain. Okay. And so the anger and the vehemence in some of these people's voices now are like, well, I tried with these people and they just don't want to freaking understand. Oh, man. You just lost people with those kinds of remarks. You've lost your patience with yourself or with mankind, whatever the deal is. And so I'm just looking at my life. Like I said, I'm really trying not to compare. But at the same time, those folks who I really thought were there with this enlightenment still don't really have a clue. They still need some work too. And I'm not bragging or judging. The realization, you don't understand how the relationship about the energy that I speak of meditating with a tree. They're still like, oh, a tree's really fun, and they're grounded to the earth, and they give you all this hopey shit. And I'm like, but you're not telling how to meld with the tree. You're not telling anyone about how to ground yourself before. You're not asking them. You must ask the tree first. You must be respectful to these things. Oh, no, just go pick a tree and sit under it and tell them you're the boss and you're gonna meditate with them. With such rudeness. That was a little over the top what I just did. But in so many ways, that's what you're telling people. And it's like, hang on. You don't have the respect yet. And you're trying to, quote, teach other people to just go sit under a tree when you don't understand it at all. You've got a little bit of a thought, so therefore you're expounding on this. And namaste, namaste, namaste. And I want to slap them and say, just shut up. You don't have a clue what Buddha was talking about. You really don't. And you don't have the right to use that word namaste because you're using it in a fake context. You're trying to make yourself feel better by saying it. Oh, I'm a Buddhist and I feel for all living things and namaste. And I want to go, you're a crock of shit. You don't have a clue what you're talking about. Because if you did, you wouldn't be talking about the money and this and that and being better than somebody else. And you're passing judgment on people. And I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. And you're cussing me out because I ask a simple question. Like, well, what about this? I know better than you because I'm further along on this road than you are. I've had some of these people actually tell me that in a chat. Well, I was chatting a question. I've been on this road longer than you. I'm a year older than you, dude, number one. Number two, I would never make that statement, regardless of my spiritual up or down or in or out or whatever. I would say your awareness is different than mine, but how can you don't even know me. I've been in your chat room 3 times and you've already made a judgment as to who I am. This was before I made videos or came out of the closet, so to speak, but these people, cuss me out. You don't have the right to make these statements to me. I'm the supreme being and I've been on this road for years. And who are you to speak about this? Well, dude, man, I've been in some really serious sweat lodges with real Native American Indians and medicine men for months, weeks in the woods, not coming out, and staying in prayer and meditation and fires and drums, and you don't have a clue what I've been through. So the number one fact that they would make a snap judgment call on my personage because I asked a question about spirituality, and something, I don't know, like where would that put you on the sliding scale if you understand this thing, and it was just a general question. It wasn't directed to this person. It was directed to as a generality. When people are trying to understand what makes them be in first grade, second grade, or graduate high school, or are you still in kindergarten? And now I'm looking back on some of these folks and I'm like, you guys aren't even in kindergarten yet. It's like you learned how to, excuse me, it's like you learned how to read, and all of a sudden you think you're a genius and that you know everything. Big deal. So you read a book. But have you felt it, meditated there, blah, 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 blah? So, and if you have, then you should have learned we as human beings have no right to judge other folk. Especially as spiritual beings, we have no right to judge. The judgment is left for Creator and themselves. I'm my worst judge. I'm my worst enemy, But to that point, I'm like, but wait a minute. I've been in your chat room 3 times and you have the audacity to judge me on my spiritual journey because I haven't done what you have. But then again, if I try to speak out, you're going to shut me up because I'm too stupid, because I'm nowhere near where you are on the sliding scale of spirituality. You're kidding. It's been happening. It continues to happen. And some of these folks have been around for 9-10 years, man. I'm like, what? I've been here from the beginning. And you're going to be here at the end, too, looks like, because they haven't moved. Their idea of spirituality has become stagnant. And yeah, I'm kind of making a little bit of a judgment call, but only in the respect that they think they have progressed. They think they understand this, but they don't know it. Their heart isn't in it. Otherwise, they wouldn't make the remarks they make. That's the proof. And that's not my judgment. It's that they prove it to me. You're not ready because you're making judgments on all these other people. And that now, for some reason, you're kind of claiming that you're holier than thou. But we are all light beings, that I am Christ, and I manifest in the blah. Yeah, okay, I agree with a lot of that. But then the next words out of your mouth are that the rest of you are a bunch of frickin' peons and will never equal my spiritual status. Bye. What's happened to these folks? Were they lying to themselves all along? Now, this isn't just me. These are other people we've kind of been in the sidelines who are now stepping out of the shadows and are just speaking what we've learned and what we understand and what we know, what our hearts tell us, what our love tells us, what our experiences tell us, and how we might reach out to other people. We shout to another. Wait, hang on. I'm going to have to say goodnight and thank you so much and hope you enjoy the fairy gifts. You sent them to me already. I will go check. I felt like I ate fairy houses. David, we should do another show one night. It will be fun. I'd love to do it. Absolutely. And I would like to get you in and let's do a live thing, okay? On screen kind of deal, Wade. And I'm going to wrap this up here with this. But I love you all. Good night. And oh my God, it's been 2 hours. Holy crap. Can I talk a bunch or what? Not even know. But wrapping up this for whoever might listen later on, and for you, if you hang on for a minute, they're full of themselves. And I hate it. I do. I hate it for them. I'm disappointed. I'm like, but I really, 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 really respected you guys. And now you're like, what? And so with that, my prayer is, oh, please, if I ever do that, good Lord, slap me down. Mother Mary, come and give me my punishment. You know what I'm saying? Make my words be true. But I'm using this only as a like, I guess I know more than I give myself credit for. I think is where I'm coming from with this. I'm understanding things and I have experienced things that I'm realizing other people haven't had. And I thought they did. That was my mistake, I guess, or maybe how they were putting the impression out. And now again, I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I just felt that more people were further along, that they understood these core things. And I'm realizing that they didn't or they don't. Now, I'm still hoping, I'm still praying, and I will continue to pray. I will email you. Does Saturday night work for you? Absolutely. Um, unless Brian from Milky Way Weekly said we'd do something tomorrow night, and if not tomorrow night, then maybe Saturday. So, but it depends because I've already kind of halfway made it a commitment with Brian. Okay. But if we don't do anything on Saturday, absolutely, Wade, will do it. Okay. So that's the answer to that. But to tie up this other thing with how far are we along on the sliding scale? I would hope that you would think that I'm trying my best not to compare myself. But at the same time, I have to say, well, can I speak on this? Other people have spoken on this subject, and it's like my take is somehow different, deeper, change something without being judgmental. I'm just looking at it, go, there's something missing from your message. It's more of that kind of thing. My spirit is listening and saying, yep, hang on, go back, hang on, don't listen, hang on, that's false. Whoa, where'd they get, So, okay, they're back on topic. Okay, so my spirit guide is helping me filter some of this stuff. And so it's like my judgment call is with my spirit guide. How am I doing, spirit? Am I staying on topic? Did I make myself clear? Are my emotions and my passions coming across to people? And you all have said yes. Thank you. And so is my truth coming out? Is my heart, soul coming out to people? Versus just words being spoken. Because the last thing I want to do is just talk a bunch of crap. And then it's like, okay, so what? Because other people have been doing that, and I see that they're failing miserably. And it's okay if I fail, that's not the point. But I am very interested in making sure that the message is clear. I am very concerned that I refuse to speak a lie. Now, I might have information that at the time I present it, I might feel it's the truth. And if I'm iffy on a subject like that, I'll say, well, I kind of sort of know, or the Galactics have said, and I'll kind of sort of give a little disclaimer. But to the rest of my experience in my soul searching, in my red road trip, in my journey as a true shaman, and I understand now, yes, I am a shaman, because that's what my study took me. That's the road I chose these last 8 years. Almost 10 years now. Actually, it will be 10 years. But 8 years of really focused study, okay? Now, plus 25 years of, really semi-intensive study. But I was working and so forth. But when I retired, I could focus 100%. So that really puts me in a different category, because I don't have to worry about work and tires and all that crap. So yeah, I can devote my energy to constant meditation and prayer. And so that's where I've been for the last 6 years. Constant meditation and prayer. I mean, when I get up in the daytime, I say, thank you, Great Spirit, for a wonderful day. I accept and receive your blessings, honors, teachings, and healings. And I thank you graciously for all of the wondrous gifts from the universe. Thank you. Wado. Now, that's the native way of saying amen or amen. So, and I say that prayer during the day, and it's just an affirmation. But what it does for me, I realize that I have reached like a monk or a true hermetic person in the quote olden days by being by oneself and by being in this constant state of thought, by being in this constant state of meditation, if you will, because when I'm working in the garden, I'm thinking of good things for people. When I'm working in the shop, I'm thinking about how I can do a YouTube video on a particular subject. So it's like I'm always connected, and especially during dream state. So this is not a judgment of others or trying to say I'm further along than someone else. But I now truly, fully realize by my observations of other people around me, and I greatly respect these people. I want you to, and I haven't mentioned anybody's name, but I greatly respect these people. And I highly honor them, even though it seems like I've passed them on the road. But I just think they had a flat tire. Might have to go back and help them because they were at least trying. Now, did they get full of themselves during this, like you suggest, Wade? I kind of think so. Like, I have become this thing and people put me in high regard. I don't want to be put in high regard. I want you to put yourself in a high regard. I'm just a messenger, period. I really, I don't ask for donations. I'm not asking for anything but for you to be yourself. That's the reward I get, for you to be yourself and the best you can be, the best light being you can be. That's my reward. And it's your choice to do it or not. I don't want you to be forced into this. It's a willing thing, but here I do know some tricks. I do know some things, and I want to help. And I don't want credit. I don't want accolades. You can say thank you, and I honestly and humbly take those. But my purpose is for none of those things to come back on me, because I give what I say freely. And anything that comes back to me is just a blessing in itself. So I don't require anything. I don't need to ask for anything, because if I speak the truth I'm going to get it back without asking. And it happens. So, for me to but then when I hear these folks, they, well, send me money. Oh, I could use money too, but I ain't going to ask, because I know I have what I need right now. Not what I want, but I've got everything I need. And come on, why should I push it? I got enough money in my pocket. I can go to the store if I want to. I got 4 good tires. My truck starts. I got a new battery. I'm happy. Okay. I got fishing gear. My canoe floats. My kayaks will work. Okay, I can't lift the canoe on the truck right now, but I'm working on that. But to the point, though, it's like I get my reward just by speaking truth, and that it's out in the universe, and that the message is there. We are all one beings. We are all connected on this quantum. We are all angels. Now, I like to stay away from that we're gods, but in so many ways we are. But first, we have to realize we're angels before we can realize the next step. Sort of like we're coming out of kindergarten going into middle school right now. Because when we understand and we become our angel selves, then there's going to be that lesson to get used to before you can realize what the next step is. It's sort of like Mr. Wayne having the aha moment with the earth and the trees. When we become angels, we're going to have aha moments. Oh my God, we're angels. Oh my God, I kind of knew it, but now I can feel it. Oh my God, and it's going to take a little time to get used to that. Okay. I mean, even for me, who I have walked both worlds, it's still going to be very new to me and going to take some getting used to. But I look forward to it, whether I transcend or I die, whichever. I know I'm going to get there, and I'm cool with that. But I also realize that when I do get there, it's going to take a little getting used to. So we need to be patient with each other, continue being compassionate, continue being kind. And even though you might have passed some of these gurus on the road, they're still human. They taught us at a time when we needed information. And so, if we got to turn around and go back and at least extend a hand to help them out of the mud and come along, we should do so with honor and respect. Even if they bitch us out, we still need to say, calm down, calm down, calm down. You may not realize it, but I'm here to help. Just take my hand. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to help you out of the mud. And simply by my stopping and being compassionate, my hope is simply by extending our hands in friendship and taking that leap of love, that they will get out of the mud. And simply by having that hand to help them up without any words, without any thanks, without any preconceived, when I help you, this will happen, just do it. And that maybe that in itself will be an aha moment, that they will realize, oh crap, I've been stuck in the mud and I've been judging people when I shouldn't have. And this person who I cursed and cussed for being a Dutch just gave me their hand to help me up. I'm hoping they have that oh wow moment. I'm extending this courtesy. I will continue to extend this courtesy to any human, any being, anyone who needs to have a hand, whether it's up, in friendship, in whatever. I will always extend my hand in peace, never in anger or dishonesty. I will extend my hand in honor and respect to another person. Now, if I'm rejected, sorry, okie doke. If you want to fight with me like the swimming thing, I'm not going to drown with you. I'm sorry. I'll stand over here. I'll throw you a stick or a PDF or something, but you're not taking me down, because self-preservation is number one. You can't help anybody else if you're not well enough to do it yourself. And I look at some of these folks and I think, are you too sick to continue discussing this with other people? Because it seems like you're having your own issues and that you need to, just like calm down and accept some, but see, that's even making a judgment call. But as a director and giving critiques to other actors and things, you have to be kind of go, are you aware that this is happening to you? But do it in a kind way rather than, you some bitch cut me out, now I'm giving you the bird. Or do you say, hey, whoa, hang on there. Whoa, cuss, hang on. Cuss me and all you want to, but something seems off, and I just want to extend my friendship regardless of how you feel towards me. That's all. Okay, you can cuss me out some more. I'm backing off. Just know I offered the offer still stands as long as you are respectful back with me. That's all I ask is respect and honor, which is tied together. But my hand will come out to you. I will extend my hand and help you out of the mud or whatever needs to be done, as long as we have respect. And right now, these people don't have respect for other folks, and they're still preaching it, So, but I continue to pray. I'm more hopeful now than I was just 2 months ago, actually. And we're a lot better off than we were a year and a half ago, where I was pretty much just go away, world. I'm going to live down here in my little corner and the hell with the rest of you. Even though I've had, 25 different homeless people live in my house in the last 10 years, in and out, steal things, you leave things. I mean, it's been a rat race, except for the last 3 or 4 where I've been mostly by myself. Yeah, mostly. 99% of the time. Other than critters and etherical beings. But so let's keep that thought, that even though those folks who did teach us at one time, who are full of themselves now, they're still our brothers and sisters, and we still should treat them with. Now, that doesn't mean that we should just be we should allow them to be abusive to us. If they continue to be abusive, then they're pulling us down. If their abuse is up to a point, we can tolerate some of it. But if it just continues and continues, then just say, thank you, sorry, have a wonderful day. I'm so sorry that I bothered you, and apologize and step out. Bye-bye. And they can always come back to you and ask you for your help, and you should always allow that. However, we don't have to stand there and get beat up all the time. We don't have to accept all this abuse in any way, shape, or form. Only the beginning part, to let them know that we are willing, despite their anger towards us, that we will extend a loving, honest hand to help in any way. If nothing more than to just, here's a hand, here you go, no words spoken, nothing said, there you go. And just to help you up. That's all. So with that, we're all doing good. I see things changing. And where I was not happy at all and giving up, I'm so glad that I started this. I'm so glad that other people are coming out like me, who are speaking just their hearts and what they know. And they're trying in very simple ways to show people. You don't have to be in a religion. You don't have to join a cult. You don't have to believe in 1,400 different gods and stuff. You just got to be yourself and connect with the source. Connect with Creator. You don't need anything in between. Just go right there. It's right there all the time. So with that, I leave you with love, honor, peace, respect, and Wade. We are all together in this, brother and sister. We are all together in this stuff. And I will email you. I'd love to be on with Brian some night. Wade, just get in touch with him. He was talking about the other night that it would be nice to have another person on with him and I. So maybe, are you still there, by the way? That looks like somebody is. But anyway, so come on maybe with Brian and myself on Saturday night. Maybe we can make it a trio. We have this joke going with Brian and I that it's the Men with Hats night. So when I come on, I wear a cap or hat, and he wears his hat, and he likes hats. So anyway, maybe it's a men with Knights hat, or it's Men with Hats night. I said that backwards. But anyway, I hear. So did you hear what I just said? Okay. So we'll see if we can't get with Brian and see what's up, okay, for Saturday night. But I would, one way or the other, we'll still do it, okay? But we were talking about, what about having another person come in? Let's do 3 people and have a discussion. So, and if he doesn't have somebody planned, why not? Come on, more the merrier. So I love you all. Bye-bye. I got to go out and see where there is no moon tonight. That's right. I got to find out where the stars are and do my solar check. So I love you all and be safe. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Miss Phoebe and Miss Patricia and all the other folks who come and visit here. I love you. And so take care and love to do it. Yes, me too. And like I say, if we don't do it with Brian, you and I can do it too. Okay. I need the practice. I need to try this again. So love you, brother. Take care of yourself and see you later. Good night, good morning, wherever you are, and peace out, folks.